Seches Brachos Daf Mem Hey. We're starting the 7th parak of Brachos. B'siyat Shmaya would like to welcome all the listeners on Torah Anytime and a big yasher koyach to the host Torah Anytime for graciously hosting our shir. The Mishnah says that if you eat something that's asur, it's a mezamnin alav. There's a tremendous machlokes Yishayinim what the beer in this halachah is. The Shittas Harayvit and other Yishayinim is that it's halachah in hilchas zimun, that there's no tzir of zimun in a situation that they're not allowed to eat what they're eating. There's no connection in the heseba between them. However, the Shittas Rambam is that it's a halacha in all hilchas brachos, that you cannot make a bracha before and after on eating something that's asur ba'achila. There's a tremendous discussion in the Mefarshim of Shittas Rambam, and there's three different approaches to explain the Havana and Divrei Rambam, which and they have tremendous nafkaminis between them. The Rashbatz over here explains that the Shittas Rambam is because the mitzvah haba ba'aveira. Mitzvah ba'aveira, you're eating something that's asur and making a brach on it. It's a mitzvah haba ba'aveira, and therefore he explains if someone was nanas and someone had to eat something that's asur like achila yom kippur or the like, that he was mutter to go and eat it, then it's not a mitzvah of aveira, and he has to make a bracha on it. It's a chiddush in the Mashbatz that this is considered mitzvah of aveira. Ayin b'zalmin, he is mefalpil. Well, it shouldn't be mitzvah of aveira. One thing we could speak out is it could be it's totally in what the lomdus of Birchas Hanenin is. If it's Birchas Hanenin, it's a mitzvah, a chayvas bracha, it's a mitzvah of aveira. If it's a din, you can't be that it could not be a mitzvah aveira. Another discussion that Rabbi Salman speaks about is that the bracha is not at the time when he's eating the davar asur. He's making a bracha before. However, he says maybe it's the hachana to the eating the isur, so that's enough to be considered mitzvah aveira by ayin shah. The Shittas Ra and the Shittim Betzes and other Rishonim say a different mahalach in the Shittas Rambam. He say that when you eat something, be'isser, it's the Mar says in Baba Kama, it's a niyotz to make a bracha to Kadosh Baruch Hu in such a situation. And then the Rishonim continue. And even in the case when you have to eat it on Yom Kippur, or you have a different situation where you have to eat something that's asur, it's still not fit to make a bracha. And he says, why? Because it's not hano elatzar. Even if you're eating it and you're having hano from it, it's considered a tsar, and that hano is not considered hano. And they explain it's like a isha that was nenas, even though at the end she had hano, that's not considered a hano. And then the Rishonim say a different point, that let's say it'll be a isid rabbanon, also you can't make a bracha, but if you're nenas to do an isid rabbanon, then you could make a bracha. So on this, why is it isid rabbanon better? The explanation is, like the Nesiva says in the Meshimresh Lamadal, Issa Dabono is only Issa Gavro, L'shmoya Divrei Chachomim, it's not Issa Cheftza. So how much you're obligated to do this Dabonon, it's like a Milsa De'Teira. Al Kaponim, the Rishonim are saying a tremendous chiddush that eating something be'isser is not considered a hano, and therefore you don't make a bracha even when you're permitted to eat it. And the Beis Yosef brings this, Legabe, if someone was nanas, even when it's not an isser, that you don't make a bracha. And the Mogan Avram, the Pri Chodosh, ask a number of kashas on this mahalach. They ask from the halachah says kafur achol matzah, you mekayim a mitzvahs matzah. And the Ran says that the reason is because since you might have had hano, it's misasik b'cholav marayis chayv shekeinen, it's considered hano even though you were forced into it. So the Mogan Avram asks, so why is it over here that we say that you don't make a bracha? It's not considered hano. The Mogan Avram asks, the Shulchan Aruch paskins that you do make a bracha, Chayil Yom Kippur does make a bracha. A third mahalach to explain the Shittas Rambam, B'Snei Zalman says that the pshat is that since it's a davar asur, that like tiknu chazal bracha on a meichel that it's asur, only on something that's mutter to eat, that was given to us to eat, that you can make a bracha on something that you can't eat. There's no choivas bracha. And he says, therefore, it doesn't make a difference, even if it's b'shoigig, but since you're not allowed to eat it, there's no chayvas bracha, and therefore he writes that the Rishonim ask a kasha from the Mar Baba Kama, that the Moshe Ein Zem Voichel Menayitz, and the Rosh says it's mashma you make a bracha, but it's a niyitz. However, Shittas of Rambam is you don't make a bracha. So Mrs. Almud says that the teretz to this kasha is that the Rambam specifically talking about Birchas Hanen, and that the Meichel is not mechayiv a bracha in a situation when you're not allowed to eat it. By Birchas HaMitzvahs, you could make a bracha. The Gemara asks, how do you know that there's a chiv zimun? And the Gemara says, we want to have a pasuk of Kishem Hashem Eko Havugoydel Alekenu. And the Chonim ask that the Gemara on the Mem Ches has a whole different makar to Choiva Zimun. So Netziv writes in Hamek Shaila that these two separate halachas learned there from two separate psukim. That over here the Gemara is discussing how do you know that when there's a zimun, one is mevorich and everyone answers that the Goin writes. That is the main part of zimun, is that everyone makes a bracha together. That means the mezamin benches and everyone listens to them. Mashenki, the Gemara Daf Mem Ches is discussing how do you know the added words in the beginning, the boisem and valampension, the varech, how do you know you say that? That's a totally different halacha. And the Tziv explains further that not only is the gedder of Birchas HaZimun is that one is mevarech and everyone answers, but an intrinsic part of it is the answer amen. That's a more weiter that amen is part of the bracha, and he goes at length through Grayas that amen is part of the actual bracha, the Mardaf Lamedala that we spoke out. He says it's halachah in all brachas that's amen is part of the bracha, and that's the way a person should be yotzim mitzvah zimun. That means that the Rambam writes in Perek Aleph Halacha Yud Aleph that there's two ways to be yotzah a bracha from the mevorich. One is shemeika oine, one is with answering amen, and Tziv learns that it's specifically over here the way to be yotzah zimun is with answering amen. And he says although he's learning that amen is part of the bracha, that's only when you coming to be yotzah the bracha from someone that's mechuyev a bracha like you. However, if you just hear amen from somebody else and you're not being yotzah from him, that it doesn't have halacha like the amen is like the mevarich. And Biskurov and Stencils is medayik in the Rambam like that the whole din that amen is like the mevarich is only when you're coming to answer and be yotzah with his bracha. A different explanation in the two sugyas, the Sefer Berachah writes, according to Kiryat Sefer, the Kiryat Sefer writes that Birchas HaZimun ba'asura is the Raisa, Mashenki Birchas zimun with three people is only the Abana. So therefore the Gemara on Daf Mem Ches is talking when you have a minion, and over there zimun is the Raisa, and over here we're talking about zimun the Abana with three people.